I'm now about to interview a man that's been coaching for the Royals for 13 years with 8 premierships to his credit and to his club's credit. And I'd like to introduce now Darryl Panizza, who, as I said, has been the coach of the Royals for 13 years. Darryl, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me in.
No problems at all. Now, we normally, when I interview people, and I've done about 20 interviews so far, we actually try and promote the club, to get membership and all that. Put this one down, membership down, and in this case, your membership base is very good, and I just thought it would be a nice change of tack to actually interview the person, and I don't want to make it this is your life, but by the same token, a bit of history about your involvement with junior football, going through playing for Claremont, playing for Woodville, and also playing for the state, representing the state, coaching Claremont, and also your great success here in Albany.
Oh, look, I think that what we should do is probably look at just football in general, but look, Royals have been a fantastic footy club over a long period of time, and it's like every football club, you're always looking for new members and people to come and join the football club. We pride ourselves on the fact that we are a family orientated club. I go back to when I was playing at Woodville under Malcolm Blythe. He was a very strong advocate of making sure that it wasn't just a boys' club, because a lot of football clubs are a place for the boys to go and for the girls to stay away from. So the thing that he promoted very much was the fact that wives, girlfriends, and family were very much a part of the footy club, and that's something that I've tried to bring through with my coaching as well, is that a football club or a happy footballer is somebody who has their family and the people that they're interested in around them at the same time. So look, there's always times at a football club where the boys have got to be the boys, but in general, we've tried to really make sure that everybody's involved. Family, parents, grandparents, those sorts of things, because they're the ones that are generally interested in the footballer who is playing football at your footy club. So we really do appeal to a lot of people, because we try to involve everybody at our football club. The hardest thing, I suppose, now is just getting volunteers to come along and supporting the football club on a Sunday. So if there's anyone listening there who's maybe thought of being involved in footy and have never been quite sure about wanting to be a part of a football club, is to come down to Royals. We train on Wednesdays and Fridays, and obviously we play a lot of our football on Sundays, with a few of the clubs going away from the traditional day, trying to play their games on a Saturday. If that suits them, that's fine.
Excuse me, Darryl, what's the motivation behind that, changing it to a Saturday?
I'm not quite sure. A lot of people like to have their Sundays off, that you're able to then go and have a night out Saturday night, go to a restaurant, go to a pub, go to a nightclub, whatever the players want to do, and can sleep in on Sunday mornings without having to get up and go to work. So
fair enough, yeah.
I think mainly, look, we at the Royals Football Club are against playing on Saturdays for the pure purpose that a lot of kids these days like to get a bit of part-time work, and Saturdays are when the shop's open, which I suppose begs to say what is going to happen to our competition when 7-day trading comes in, which will be a major issue as far as the sporting community goes in the Great Southern in general, because with the numbers of people that they're going to drag on to fill those positions on Saturdays and Sundays has got to eat into the sporting clubs themselves. So something that I think that in a social aspect of things may be it has to be a debatable question of whether the 7-day trading in Albany is a great thing or not.
Yeah. Is there any talk about having night football then? So on a Friday night or Thursday night?
Look, I suppose from night football in the Great Southern is that you might have a couple of ovals that are close to having the right lighting facility to be able to do it. But to play a game of footy and it not having the right lighting lux that's meant to be on an oval when you play night footy would turn into an actual legal nightmare if someone was to actually hurt themselves. So I'm pretty sure that that is something that maybe the local council or royalties for regions, if you're listening out there, Mr. Waldron, that you might be able to help us out with, getting a facility that is capable of having night footy in the Great Southern, and not just night football, but we know that hockey's got their facility there, which is fantastic. But you got to look at the soccer side of things as well. There is other sports, and we just need to have a facility. I know that they've been talking about getting a facility up and running into a top-notch sporting complex. But I've been here now, this is my 14th year of coming home, and I don't know whether we're any closer. I know that the Collingwood Park or North Albany's facility down there, that I think they're a few steps closer to doing something down there. But obviously we need to make sure that we're always pushing to get the best of the best. I mean, we are a long way from Perth, and I'm not sure they know we still exist. So I know that you've heard of the bush telephone, but the string on the end of the piece of tin, it's gone many years ago. So look, I guess we're in a minority government with with Labor holding the seat down here. So I suppose we're not getting all that much, although we are still getting our new hospital.
Right. I was going to say, you're not a shy lad, eh? You like to lobby, I assume. So you ever thought of being a politician?
Well, I have been asked occasionally, but I'd reckon my track record might bring me undone a few times. I'd hate to have people throwing tomatoes and eggs at me. But look, being a part of footy, and I suppose going from country to city and then back to the country, I just don't think people realise, some of the things that we miss out on down here, and especially that's why we've started the Great Southern Storm down here, which is a football development group over a summer.
I was going to touch on that, yeah.
Yeah, over a summer period, which the results of that already have been noticed. And I had a meeting with Trevor Nisbet, the Eagles CEO, a few weeks ago, or a month ago now. And he's actually got a couple of boys playing at Claremont, and he's looking at the Colts players coming through from the Great Southern. And he made note that he said there's something changed down there. What are you doing? And we've come up with this summer program, which is giving these kids a great performance base to be able to go up there as fit players, and not just turning up in January, haven't done anything, haven't worked on their skills. And the coaches that we have down here is something that a lot of the other regions are really looking at now. I know that Dean Kemp over in the southwest is trying to get an academy or a development squad working over there, and we're 5 years in front of them. So we'd be hoping, and we know that it's already worked for us, because a couple of years ago when we played Denmark out there was 18 kids out of the Storm that played in that grand final, and I'm sure there was somewhere around 21, 22 last year when Royals played Railways that have come through the system. So we're trying to make footy grow in the Great Southern, especially in our region, the Great Southern Footy League. And at this stage, I know that some of the kids probably steer away from it a little bit because it is demanding and it is discipline. Well, I think that, a few more of the kids should take the challenge on rather than, shy away from it, because we are lacking discipline in our own society and in our own moral standings around the place. And this is something that we're trying to work with the boys as well. There's drugs, there's alcohol, there's cars, there's speed, and all these sorts of things.
So many distractions, isn't there?
There is so many distractions, but there's also, we're trying to educate them in that these things do kill. And like I keep telling people, I've never met anyone that's come back from the dead.
No, me neither. But I'd just like to carry on a point that you made about your development and youth development and getting the right skills. My perception, I see footy a fair bit. I'm a Kangaroo supporter, but don't tell anyone. But I'm finding that we're breeding a lot of athletes now on the footy field, and the actual kicking, the accuracy and the penetration of the kick. A lot of the guys are barely kicking 35, 40 metres, going for a goal. They're battling to get it through. They're on the 50-metre mark, and it just drops in the. And I don't think that's by design. I think he's trying to go for a goal, and this happens a lot. I see.
The John Daly's of driving a golf ball 300 metres or 350 metres is gone, and I think you find that the way that the game has transpired into this short passing around, go backwards, go sideways, keep possession of the footy, is probably taking that long kick and also that practice of the long kick out of the game. You know, I know that, you know, you go back, and I remember having a meeting with Kevin Sheedy in 1995, probably February, just before I started, whilst I was just taking on the senior role at Claremont. And on his whiteboard, I still remember, he wants 6'3" and an athlete. And he was looking for those types of players back in those days, which is pre what has transpired in the AFL now. They're all, you know, if you're not 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", and can run, jump, mark, kick, you know, you really are starting to struggle, which is a shame. We do still see the little Ashley Hams and those types of blokes getting around.
Eddie Betts, yesterday's example. Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you'd find that Eddie Betts is not as short as you probably think he is. You know, you walk into these football clubs now and you just think, God, how the hell did you ever play the game? Because you know, there are a lot of players, and I played a lot of my footy when I went to centre half back with Claremont and Jason Ball. Now, he was 6'8", and I was just barely 5'11". So I'd imagine that, you know, the average height now around an AFL club is probably 6'5". But going back to, it's what you're taught as a junior. Now, we go down to, I've got a young fella now who's just started off in the under-7s, so it all transpires from that first time they pick up a footy, I think. And the really hard thing is to change anyone's kicking style, even if they've been doing it for 12, 18 months. It's just impossible, basically, to...
Well, Kennedy is an example for the Eagles. You know, he stopped stuttering starts and he still kicks
Fred
goals.
Flintstone kick. I mean, he's obviously got into something when he was a young fella. He might have watched a bit of too much Fred Flintstone, but he obviously has the stutter. But again, I mean, it's effective. So, you know, why change it? Just make it better. So the more he practices it, the better, obviously, the accuracy he does have. But, you know, it'd be fantastic to bring back the drop punt, that, you know, that you can get these kicks. But when you start looking at also some like Hawthorn, they use Hodge in the back line, who is a bloke that can kick the ball 60 metres and hit a target. So they have their designated kickers these days. Not everybody has to kick the ball a long way. So, you know, go back to your question, you know, these days, specifically, I think it's more inclined, you've got to be able to use the ball, chip it around and hit your targets. You know, your 30 to 45 metre pass are the ones that are really effective these days. And again, you know, they've taken out the fact that of the natural footballer, if he's a bit slow and a bit round, he doesn't seem to get the same opportunity as the other person who's an athlete, can run, who can recover and all those types of things. He doesn't get the same opportunity. So, again, I think that you're seeing also in the draft these days, I mean, it costs $200,000 for a football club to draft a player from the day that he walks in for his 2-year stint at a footy club. So I'm thinking, you know, it's like going to the yearling sale and paying $2.6 million for Black Caviar's half-sister. Is she going to be like Black Caviar?
Risk.
Now, the risk is enormous. So, again, and that's why you're seeing now that a lot of, I suppose, young boys who have had a few problems in regards to their social life are being rookie listed because the cost of developing them is not as great, and they get a chance to work with them for 12 months and see where they're going and whether they're going to come through, and that's when they get elevated to the senior lists.
No, very cool. There was another observation I'd to make to you, and it'd be nice to get your thoughts on it. You see some terrific goals scored in the pockets. You know, they're on the run, and you know, you think it's an impossible angle, and they bend it like Beckham for goals, but you get them about 30 metres out from a set shot, and it's lucky to go for a point in a few of them, a few cases. You know, the accuracy for kicking for goal.
Well, I'm sure if you ask Buddy Franklin, he'd rather be running around the boundary line having 3 or 4 bounces and trying to steer it through. And I think it comes back to the mind. I mean, you know, to be able to, you go back to these players like Tony Lockett, Jason Dunstall, Austin Robertson Jr., and these guys who never had the fear of, I'm going to miss. Because as soon as you mark the ball 30 or 40 metres out, you know, you turn around, you walk back because you're going to have a shot on goal, and the fact is, boy, I hope I kick it, regardless of whether you think you're going to think it or not. Subconsciously, it just enters the mind. You know, we need to kick it. We're 5 points down. McIntosh a couple of weeks ago for North Melbourne has to kick the goal to win the game, and it's just. And
there's about 15 cameras on them as well.
Well, pressure, probably 100,000 people, so you know it's 200,000 sets of eyes, or eyes on you, not sets of eyes.
But
look, it just comes back to the mind, and again, it's being able to just block everything out, go through your normal routine. And we talk about Kennedy now, you know, to be able to go through that routine consistently, and every time he has a shot at goal, I mean, it's just simply amazing, I reckon.
Yeah. I just thought I'd take a little break because I think you've been talking non-stop for 20 minutes there, Darryl. You're doing well, mate. Just hold on.